Hello everyone and welcome to Clay Soldiers Conquest. We're at the Grey Capital. They're going to be the first group of people that we see moving around, taking care of stuff in this little Conquest simulation series. It's definitely going to be an interesting series, and hopefully we can get this done pretty easily. So, the Grey Barbarians, they have an agenda of expansion and conquest, becoming as powerful as they can be, and trying to just control the land and be the military superior civilization in the world. And so, their first goal is going to be get a second city built straight away. Now, building a second city is definitely more of a challenge. In order to expand, this is something I haven't explained yet, you need to have 4 workers, or civilians, and 2 guardsmen. You have to go out and expand, starting with a town hall. And the town hall costs 20 wood and 20 stone. So, they need to gather up enough wood and stone to do this, and currently their income is only 5 stone and 10 wood. They can get the wood pretty easily, but the stone is going to be a bit of a stretch for them. Now, they do have a chance of going out and gathering some extra basic materials in the nearby landscape. All they need to do is send out their remaining civilians, which they have 6 of, and they can go out and gather something. So let's roll some dice and see what they gather. Now, when I say roll some dice, I do literally mean roll some dice. This is the best way I can figure them doing things by chance that has little impact on me telling them what to do. Now, they also have a chance of gathering, things like wheat and wood. And I think there was something else I had intended, but for now we're just going to go with that. So, 30% chance that they'll collect stone, and I'm rolling a d4 to determine how much they collect. And they did get some stone, but not very much. They only got 1. That's pretty bad. So, their total amount of materials gathered for this week is 10 wood and 6 stone. So they're halfway there. Now, they also can train up some of their guardsmen into actual soldiers. But they don't have a butcher to gather leather. Oh yes, that was the other thing I was going to say they can gather from the nearby woods. Leather. I forgot that. No, either way, they did get stone. Now, one thing that I am actually worried about is these guys drowning. Because they will drown if they don't come out of the water soon enough. In fact, I think one might have already drowned, because I think there should be 37, but my indicator says there's only 36. Anyway, there's light blue wandering around the woods still. I'm going to have to take care of that. Alright, let's get these guys their weekly income. 10 wood and 6 stone. And that is it for these guys. So, let's move on to the next civilization. Alright, so now we're over at the Purple Magi civilization. These guys are more diplomatic. They tend to avoid fighting. They're okay with just sitting around their own base and upgrading. They will expand when they feel like they're ready to, but for the most part, they just want to avoid conflict. Now, their immediate goal isn't going to be to build a second city. In fact, their immediate goal is going to be to make this city better. They want to have a good, solid capital. A place where they can keep a good amount of items and a good base for expansion and stuff. Now, their current income, they have 5 stone and 5 wood coming in, 2 clay and 2 wheat. The stone and the wood are the most important for the upgrading, though. Now, let's see what their non-working civilians will find in the woods. And their non-working civilians go out and they come back with 2 more wood this week. So, that's going to give them 7 wood, 5 stone, 2 clay, and 2 wheat. Now, the thing that they're going to upgrade first and foremost is actually going to be their quarry. Want to make sure that they get good amount of stone. It's not as useful for building, but... well, actually, maybe they should go for the wood. Because wood is used in more building than anything else. So yeah, their initial goal is going to be wood. Now, a level 2 lumber mill is going to cost them how much wood? It's going to cost them 10 wood, so next week they'll be able to upgrade their lumber mill. But for this week, no go. Now this first episode, not very much is going to happen. We're only going by weekly episodes. And the wheat and the clay. Now, no civilization actually has contact with another civilization yet. To start out with, they don't really know where each other are at. They just know that there's other clay soldiers out there. Now, they don't know if they're going to be friends, foes, or just non-aggressive allies. Speaking of non-aggressive, let's head over to the Frasca now. And here we are in the wonderful winter wonderland of the Frostkin. I think 2 of their soldiers might have drowned. No matter. So, these guys, they are not really diplomatic, but they're not aggressive. They are kind of a middle ground type group. They want to expand, but they want to avoid conflict while doing so. As such, if they can't really expand safely, they will favor upgrading their buildings over anything else. For now, they're going to be focusing on making sure they have enough stuff to go out and build another city. Now, their income is not that great. They, like the purple Magi, only get 5 stone and 5 wood every week. But they also get 4 iron, which is a fairly important resource for upgrading buildings. So, they will also be trying to gather some extra resources from the woods, but they have less people stationed at workstations. They only have 16 people working right now, working in the quarry, the mines, the lumber mill, and the clay pit. As such, they have 9 civilians that are able to go out and scavenge, which means for them they're going to get a dice upgrade for having 8 or more soldiers. They get to roll a d6. And their roll, let's see, a 59% and a 1. That would actually be leather. So they managed to collect a single piece of leather. Good job, guys. You did well. So let's take that into account. Now, they could actually upgrade one of their guards to a soldier with that. In fact, they might as well. And then they can train one of their civilians into a guard. But they don't actually have a farm, so they can't really get new soldiers as easily as everyone else. So perhaps, for the time being, they can hold off on getting a new guard. Let's give them their leather, their 2 clay, their 5 wood, their 5 stone, and 4 iron ore. Not bad for their first week of collecting resources. You know, maybe for the first episode, we'll go 2 weeks worth of collecting, just to get things moving quicker. Yeah, let's go about doing that. So, back to the Greys. And so, we're back at the Grey Barbarian capital, and they are a ways off from actually having enough stone to go out and build their new city, and they know it. As such, they're going to actually focus on making a minor upgrade to their work areas, make their quarry a little bit better. All that's going to take them is 10 wood to do so, and they have the wood, so they may as well. So let's go ahead and get them upgraded. Let's clear out some of this workspace. And we're ready to upgrade it. And there we have it. A level 2 quarry. This increases their income to 8 stone, and they can also collect 2 cobble, which means that they can start training archers if they need to. But it takes 6 workers to keep the quarry going at full operation. So let's get those adjustments made for them. Turn this off and hide this. Do income 8 stone, 2 cobble. Workers, it'll be 6 out of 6 because they do not have much need for any other workers. Becomes 4 out of the 25 available civilians. $21 out of 25. There we go. Now let's collect the wood from their chest here. They do not have that anymore, technically. And they'll have it back as soon as this little bit's over. In fact, let's go ahead and do their resource collecting with their non-working civilians. That is actually a wheat, but they managed to collect 4 wheat, so good on them. They got a lot of wheat. So the 10 wood, now 8 stone, and 2 cobble, which cobble is used to become gravel at the alchemist, but they are currently not powering their alchemist stations with anyone. Not that it would matter, because they don't have a training ground, come to think of it. Maybe basic archers should be something that can be trained by default as well. Was there anything else that they were collecting? I do not believe so. Yeah, that's all that they have. Oh, and the wheat. Let's make sure that this book got replaced. There we go. So, provided... Actually, yeah, the next video, these guys will actually be able to expand, build a new city, and start gathering resources over there. Now on to the Purple Magi. So, back here over at the Purple Magi's capital, they don't have anything else that they can really do other than collect more resources. So, pretty much they're just going to be doubling what they have. But we still have to roll for their scavenging capabilities. And they have actually managed to collect 4 wheat as well. Not that they really needed that, but they did collect it. Now, it's important to keep in mind that we do have a maximum storage capacity. However, it's not just the warehouse that stores things. All the work sites will store 5 goods that they produce per level. So a level 1 farm can store 5 wheat. A level 2 farm can store, well, you can't really store the cow. The cows just kind of stay there. But it can store 10 wheat. A level 3 quarry can store 15 stone. Or X stone and X cobble. You know, combination of that. Anywho, that is 6 wheat, 2 clay, 5 wood, and 5 stone. Now, they do have enough resources to upgrade their wood production now, but collecting comes at the end of their turn, not at the beginning. Yeah, we're going to go with at the end of the turn. Just because that means they can get the full benefit of their workplace after they upgrade it. It all works out, trust me. Now, what do they currently have total? 20, 34. So yes, they're over the capacity of the storage house, meaning that they're storing some of this stuff at their workshops. Which is kind of easy to figure out. It's not that difficult for me at the moment. I'm sure it'll be more hectic to try to figure out where their storage limits are at later on. And moving on to the Frostkin. And so we're back at the Frostkin capital. Now, they are switching tactics a little bit. They are going to put more emphasis in their scavenging attempts. So, they've pulled people out from the mines to go help search the nearby forest for supplies, and as a result, they have over 12 people scavenging, which means they get to collect D8 resources. Actually, maybe I should change that to 2d4 instead of d8s. That way they have a minimum of 2. Grab a quick dice switch. go. So, when I roll for their scavenging, they'll have a maximum of 8 resources collected, but a minimum of 2. Now, they don't really have anything other than scavenging to do, and collecting the weekly resources, but they're hopeful that they will find some wheat. And they have. They have found also 4 wheat. Amazing. Everyone has found wheat this week. Well, with that, also the 2 clay and 10 wood and 10 stone. Now, training soldiers and upgrading them can come after resource collection, in my mind. This gives them a chance to actually have an upgraded army at the end of the turn when everything is said and done. So, they're going to upgrade one of their guards into a soldier, but they have to turn some wood into sticks in order to get a new guard. So let's find one of those guards, give them this piece of leather. In fact, there's one right here. Congratulations, guard. Hey, come back here. Come back here, guard. I said congratulations. You are now a soldier. I'm gonna have to figure out a better way of doing these books. But we'll keep that in mind. They're down to 3 guards. They have 9 soldiers. Congratulations to them. They have the best military might so far. Alright, I think that'll do it for this introductory episode into this series. You have a taste of how this is going to be going. It's going to be fairly interesting later on, especially when we get to the point where they can actually go to war with each other. But for the time being, it's going to be a game of collecting resources and expanding. So, hope you guys are looking forward to the rest of the series. Hopefully this little intro has piqued your interest and made you want some more. Well, stay tuned, and you'll see the next video next week. Take care, guys, and goodbye.